Anfernee Simons' return is imminent, and we're going to talk about that in today's video. I also dropped an article on this for 750 The Game. In case you haven't heard, I'm writing 2 articles a week for them, so if you want to be notified whenever I drop an article or drop a video or drop any sort of content, because I'm making multiple forms of it now, you can join our Discord. It's linked in the description box below as I tag everybody in there whenever I drop anything. You can also follow us on Twitter. Links are also down there. Now, Anfernee Simons has been out since opening night due to what was a devastating injury in a way. Because this was a season that a lot of people were expecting Anfernee Simons to break out. He put up stellar numbers without Damian Lillard on the court in the past, and now Damian Lillard is not on the team. And if opening night was any indication, Simons was ready to break out. He had a stretch where he looked like a star, but he improved on a couple of things that I thought he needed to improve on to take that next step, and that is something that I will be looking for from him. Because in this video, I'm going to give my expectations, things to look for, and what I think Anfernee Simons needs to do to truly become that breakout star. And the Blazers soon should be as healthy as they'll be for the rest of the season, and that's great because a lot of people were curious as to what this Blazer team could do this year, because it's a completely different team without Damian Lillard at the helm. It was a completely different roster, and nobody exactly knew what to expect out of this roster going into the season. If there's one thing we maybe should have expected, it should have been injuries, because for whatever reason, the Portland Trail Blazers can't seem to escape the injury bug. But now with Anfernee Simons coming back, Jeremy Grant's in concussion protocol, but he shouldn't be out for too long. The Blazers have Malcolm Brogdon, Scoot Henderson, Tabati Kamara starting. Shaedon Sharpe has taken the next step in a way. You got a lot of intriguing pieces on this Blazer team, but they truly need some offense, because they still rank dead last in adjusted offensive rating. And that's because the Blazers rank 27th in efficiency between 0 and 5 feet and behind the three-point line. They also get the 3rd most shots blocked of any team in the league. And I think the reason for that simply does fall back to the three-point shooting, because when you're unable to shoot the ball as a team, you're unable to space the floor, and that affects layups more. I think the 27th ranked three-point shooting also has something to do with the 27th ranked finishing number. When you're able to pack the paint more, you're also able to block more shots, and I think that has something to do with the Blazers getting a bunch of shots blocked. But before we get into how Anfernee Simons can solve all of this video is sponsored by Aura. Are you tired of constantly receiving spam phone calls to the point where you don't even answer your phone anymore? It's a feeling that makes you want to chuck your phone through the window. I know it because I've dealt with this problem, but I got the fix for you. That is Aura. Because data brokers are making a fortune selling your information online to robocallers, spammers, and others who want to learn more about you. Aura can identify data brokers exposing your private info online and submit an opt-out request on your behalf. Brokers are legally required to take down your information if you ask them to, but they make it really hard to do so. Let Aura handle it for you. Aura also does so much more to protect you and your family from online threats that you can't see. It's really easy to set up, so you don't have to download a bunch of different apps to get things such as parental controls, antivirus, VPN, password management, identity theft insurance, and more. You get everything at one affordable price. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online so you can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. You can either let people continue to exploit and profit off your private information, or you can go to my link at the top of the description box below to start your 2-week free trial. Seriously, take care of your online safety, stop letting this thing drive you crazy, and check out Aura. Thank you to them for sponsoring this video. So now we're going to talk about we're going to talk about defense, then offense, and we're going to tie some things back to what I saw on opening night. While opening night was only a 1-game sample, there were a couple very encouraging things that I saw Simons do that has me confident that he might be ready to take that next step. On the defensive end, I think the biggest problem with Anfernee Simons last year was he would open the door up too much. He would drop his lead foot and allow players to get leverage on him and allow them to drive by him instead of sliding laterally, absorbing that contact with his chest like a lot of great defenders do. A good example of one is Lou Dort of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, he's super chiseled in his chest, so it does take a little level of strength if you're going to slide and absorb somebody coming at you like that. I do think that's part of the reason why Anfernee Simons struggled in the first 3 years, was he didn't have enough strength in order to hold his own, especially against some bigger 2 guards and small forwards. But Simons definitely has gotten stronger, and I noticed on opening night he was doing a good job sliding laterally and cutting guys off without opening the door. The most notable player he did that against was Kawhi Leonard. It was actually quite shocking, and me and Eric did a watch party for that opening night game, and that's something that we were noticing live is there was multiple times where Anfernee Simons got switched out onto Kawhi Leonard, and he didn't back down. He didn't shy away from the challenge. He actually got up in the ball, started poking at the ball, and then when Kawhi Leonard made the move, Simons was sliding laterally pretty quickly, as well as not opening up the door. He was cutting Kawhi off, contesting his shots well. I don't know if Kawhi scored once in that game on Anfernee Simons, and Simons was switched out onto him at least 3 or 4 times. It might have been even more than that. And with Simons defensively, you just need him to be passable. He's probably never going to be a great defender, but with everything he can do on the offensive end, he just needs to be solid enough where opposing offenses cannot take advantage of him. And I think just based on the small sample size of opening night before he got hurt, I think Anfernee Simons was ready to take that step. Because it's one thing to just get a little stronger, maybe a little quicker laterally. It's another thing to identify a flaw in footwork and how you're defending the perimeter and then fix it. Now, caveat, it is a 1-game sample size. So maybe he was just amped up because it was opening night. He was the lead guard for the first time. I don't know. Maybe it's something where he didn't exactly fix it. This is where we need to actually see him play and why him getting hurt on opening night sucks so much. But this is something to watch out for, is what is his footwork like when defending players on the perimeter? Is he opening up the door too much, or is he sliding and cutting them off better than he did last year? If it's the latter, I don't know why he can't be a solid defender. Now, on the offensive side of things, that's where Simons is really going to help this team. Because as I stated, their efficiency at the rim, the three-point line, is not good. And they get a lot of shots blocked. And I think Anfernee Simons' shooting will be a key help for this Blazer team that needs more floor spacing. They could also use another guard creator, so Simons will provide that. But I really like Simons as a player because he can both excel on and off the ball. He can space the floor for guys like Shaedon Sharpe, Jeremy Grant, Malcolm Brogdon, Scoot Henderson to attack the rim and have a little bit more freedom in doing so. And if those guys collapse the defense, Simons is probably the best spot-up shooting option on this entire team to kick out to. Simons at this point has a little bit of respect across the league, so I think off the ball he'll simply help by just being another legitimate floor spacer that this team needs. But of course, the star level stuff is going to come with his own self-creation, and he's definitely taken a step there. However, I think the one biggest thing that Simons needs to do this year is do a better job at driving downhill. He's won a dunk contest, he's a really good athlete. The problem is the way he's driven in the past hasn't allowed him to really make use of that athleticism. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times when he drives wide, or he widens out his drive and ends up jumping away from the rim to try and finish. When you're jumping away from the rim, that leaping ability doesn't really show up in terms of helping you convert shots too much. Sometimes it's even harder to finish at these weird angles if you're exploding into your jump compared to like slowing down, staying on the ground, using your body and flicking something up like a Malcolm Brogdon does. Now, a big part of being able to drive downhill past your defender starts with your first step or two, because you want to drive straight at that defender's shoulder. You want to get your shoulder past theirs. A lot of times it's actually good for the offensive player to create some contact to get that leverage, to get that shoulder past the defender, to get them to open up a little bit. Sometimes there's a physicality element in that. And in previous years, I think Anfernee Simons just avoided that contact, and it ended up with him driving wider and not getting a good angle at the rim. And that's why he didn't shoot a ton of free throws or finish at an amazing rate. On opening night, he did a really good job of driving directly at his defender and getting downhill on them and even absorbing a little bit of that contact on the drive. He had a really impressive dunk on opening night doing so. And I think this is the key for him to become an offensive star, because he can certainly shoot the ball from both mid-range and three. He has some dribble moves. He can run some pick and roll. But what do a lot of star guards do? They finish at the rim and they get to the free throw line. Anfernee Simons needs to get better at both of those if he wants to become a star caliber scorer. And that starts with being able to attack downhill at the rim, where he can bring his athleticism more into play if he's potentially putting a poster on someone because he's going at the rim instead of away from it. And if he's not dunking, he can jump into the shot blocker's chest, absorb that contact, and finish. He also has both sides of the rim available to him if he's going downhill. If you're going away from the rim, you pretty much have to finish on that side of the basket. If you're going downhill, it allows you to shoot it on the side you're driving to and also allows you to reverse. So I think his finishing could improve. I think he might be able to use the athleticism more, maybe put a poster on someone. And when you drive that aggressively, it also allows you to get to the free throw line more often. And I think Anfernee Simons being able to bump up his scoring average from where it was last year to 24-25 points per game will come primarily off of getting an extra 2 to 2.5 free throws a game. I also think he deserves a couple more shots per game. But given that he was over a 20-point per game scorer last year, if he's able to make an extra shot a game and get an extra trip to the free throw line a game, that's roughly 4 points added to his scoring average from last year. That's a 25-point per game scorer. If he's doing it efficiently too, at that point, you're talking about Anfernee Simons having a legitimate star-level impact for the Portland Trail Blazers on the offensive side of the ball. And that's truly what I'm hoping for out of him over the rest of the season, is for him to flourish, break out into a star, and have a huge impact for this Portland Trail Blazers team. Now, Chauncey Billups has some decisions to make as to who to start Anfernee Simons over, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, but if you want mine, go read that article for 750 The Game. It is linked down in the description box below. Now, Anfernee Simons might play tonight against the Golden State Warriors. I'm recording this early on Wednesday morning, so I don't know his status yet, but he practiced recently and by all accounts is ready to make his return very, very soon. So if not tomorrow, I would expect it by Friday. At the worst case, you're talking about next Monday, the 11th, which is less than a week from now. So his return is imminent. I'm really looking forward to watching him play. And with that being said, that's a wrap for this video. Let me know your thoughts on Simons down in the comment section below. And once again, shout out to Aura. Protect yourself, protect your information. Stop driving yourself crazy with robocalls, and check out Aura and use my link to get a 14-day free trial. With that being said, I'm out of here. I'll catch you next time. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.